I'm 35-year-old, married with kids. UK, I did post this in Am I the Idiot, but it was deleted. I've dealt with anxiety for a long time, but I didn't think I needed help until I had my kids, and it seemed to worsen. I had low-level counseling with a wonderful lady who really helped and supported me to find ways to manage and cope when I spiral with my thoughts. Just general over-worrying. It was honestly something I looked forward to every week. Since it was a free service and our sessions were coming to an end, she felt I could benefit from high-intensity CBT therapy. This would require for me to dig deeper to the cause and get to the bottom of it. I felt ready. Thankfully, I didn't have to wait long. My first session was via video call a few weeks later. Right off the bat, the lady informs me that she is doing a degree, and before we move forward, she needs my permission to record our video call to show her teacher so she can be marked on our session. I wasn't expecting all this, and I told her I wasn't comfortable with that. She told me it was my choice, but that I would then need to go back on the waiting list and have someone else. I didn't want to wait more either, so I weighed my options and agreed. She said she would only show key clips and then they would be deleted. She showed me the consent form to share via video, and after I agreed, I saw that she had signed it for me. I was upset that she hadn't mentioned it beforehand and thought it was a little manipulative, but decided to see how we got on. She asked me some questions, and I shared my concern and anxiety regarding my daughter around a family member on my husband's side I'm not fond of. There was no proof, but he was a bit sleazy with me in the past, and it just put me on guard a little. She asked if I had any history of abuse, and I paused. Never had I shared this with anyone before, but for some reason I felt safe in that moment and shared something I wish I hadn't. She instantly told me that if this person was still around, that she would have to tell CPS and my children would be taken away. I barely comprehended what she was saying because my anxiety was in overdrive, and I expressed that this person hadn't been in our life in a very long time. She asked who they were, and I told her I wasn't comfortable sharing that. The session ended, and I felt sick. Even though the person wasn't in my life, now I was sick with worry she'd call CPS and they'd take my kids, all because I finally opened up. After a lot of thought, I decided I didn't feel comfortable with her anymore, and certainly not recording our conversations. I told her I wasn't okay for our sessions to be recorded, and I was happy to be put on the waiting list. She tried to persist, saying there were alternatives rather than video recording, but I firmly said no, I wanted to go back on the waiting list. This was 3 days ago. She reassured me she'd delete the video and put me back on the waiting list after talking to her supervisor. I'm wondering if I acted too rash in letting her go. Should I be worried about CPS? I've been an anxious mess the past few days, and I don't think I'll ever open up about this ever again. The person who abused me wasn't some random person, but very close family. Close enough that they are still part of the family and see my parents. I just don't visit when they're there. I went fully no contact 2 years ago. My eldest was born then, but I still saw them rarely and never left them alone with my kids. I guess this is why I'm so anxious, is CPS asks about this individual. I hate them, but I don't want them to go to jail either. I only have one memory of one instance, and it's almost dreamlike, so I still doubt myself sometimes. I just knew when I had my kids that I wasn't willing to take the risk. I'm just ashamed that it took me longer than it should have to go no contact. Now, here are the comments. Comment 1. I would like to tell you that what that therapist put you through is not right. First, when you hesitated to accept the sessions being videotaped, she should have accepted that as a denial and not manipulated you into accepting something you weren't comfortable with. And asking an extremely loaded direct question that could cause extreme emotional distress on the first session is just mind-blowing. I'm so glad you had a positive experience with the prior therapist. This latest one is horrible. I'm sure your trust has been shattered, and having to address a topic you weren't really ready to in such an unsafe environment must have caused you a lot of pain. And then you are left with no help from the harm the therapist themselves has caused you. I am so sorry. Comment 2. In the event a referral is made, a social worker will ask, and you can clearly and honestly state that you have no contact with your abuser and they are not in the life of you or your family. Your therapist does have a duty of care to report a safeguarding concern, even without your consent, but only if you disclose a risk to children. I don't see what grounds your therapist has to make a referral when you have been very clear your abuser is not in the lives of you or your children. They could be at risk of data protection breaches by disclosing private data. Even if social do turn up, they will just ask questions to make sure the kids are safe. Your therapist sounds poop. BTW. Comment 3. Not the idiot. I feel like you would be very justified in filing a complaint against her for essentially blackmailing you into signing the video release form. I also feel like she should have approached everything differently before jumping on the CPS bandwagon so quickly. In the USA, and this may be different where you live, therapists are mandatory reporters. If you tell them something that makes them believe your children are at risk, they are required by law to report it. I know you say, I don't want this person to go to jail, but I think your opinion should be, I want him to go to jail to make sure he can never hurt another child. Pedos don't stop. Now for the next story. Background. I, a 27-year-old female, have a sister, Kay, who is 28 years old and 11 months older than me. When we were 4 and 5 years old, we fell into a group of other people who were 5 years older than us, the children of my mom's friends. These other girls sexually abused both of us without our knowledge at the time. As we got older, the older kids made friends their own age, and the abuse continued, but only from my sister. When I got my first period, the sexual abuse stopped and the emotional and physical abuse began. She would chase me with knives, threaten to kill me, tell me my friends didn't actually like me, and insult my appearance. She would also scream at me in the hallways at high school or physically force me out of the driver's seat when she was grounded from driving. I had to take 5 days off school in junior year because she was suspended for threatening the life of a cheerleader. Since my mom was out of town, she sent me to watch her and make sure she didn't do anything. Currently, the emotional abuse takes the form of snide comments and excluding me from group gifts with our other 2 siblings for our parents. She then calls me a topper because I got a present for them myself. Ever since high school, I have limited contact with her, and when we see each other at family events, it only takes about 1-2 hours before she makes a few comments. The last major event we attended resulted in her husband, and her father-in-law being kicked out of my parents' lake house for mistreating my parents. Now, on to the current event. In July, my family had a barbecue, and Kay made a snide comment while I was holding one of my nephews, not Kay's child. I don't remember the comment, but I lost control of my anger and openly called her my abuser. I also stated that I would not attend her baby shower, even though I was helping plan it and had gotten things for it. After that, I received a message from her apologizing if she upset me and asking me to still come to the shower as her child would love to have me there. I chose not to respond and attend the shower because her apology didn't feel genuine. I have now gone from limited contact, LC, to no contact, North Carolina, and told my family that I don't want to know what's going on in her life, so they shouldn't tell me. Fast forward to now, she has recently had her first child, and my family and boyfriend think I'm a bad person because I don't care to congratulate her or say anything to her. So, Reddit, am I the idiot for not caring that my sister had a child? Edit. The comments she currently makes are mostly related to politics. I believe that gender identity doesn't matter and that the LGBTQ+ community deserves equal rights. My sister holds the opposite belief. The only time she was asked to leave was when she put up a Trump clock to provoke me, and I asked my mom why it was there, as it hadn't been the rest of the weekend. My sister's father-in-law yelled at me after I stated that politics should not be brought up at the lake. I asked if I could speak, but he denied me, so I left. After I left, my stepfather and my sister's father-in-law got into an argument, resulting in the father-in-law being asked to leave. My sister and her husband left with him. Now, for the next story. I have a 2-month-old baby, and everyone is rightly excited about it. Both my mom and my mother-in-law have been excited about the prospect of getting to babysit. However, my mother-in-law brings it up constantly. I appreciate her availability, but I'm a stay-at-home mom for the moment, so the need just hasn't really come up, and it's gotten a little bit annoying being prodded about it, even though I know it's not her intention. Yesterday, I decided that I wanted to run a few more errands than just groceries, and it would be easier to do without the baby. So I asked if she wanted to watch him. She said, of course, but it would have to be after she dropped her other grandchildren back home at 11 a.m. I said, no problem. Just let me know when you're headed home because she lives half an hour away from me. I knew she would probably hang around and talk with her daughter for a bit while she was there, so I wasn't expecting a message until 11:30, 12. But by 2 p.m., I still hadn't heard anything, and I decided I wasn't going to have enough time to do the things I was planning on doing, so I told her never mind. She apologized and said she could take him the next day instead. This is where I'm wondering if I'm the idiot. I said no and asked my mom to babysit instead, even though she doesn't get off work until mid-afternoon and I wouldn't have as much time to do things. It would have been easier for me to let my mother-in-law watch him, but I felt like she had disrespected my time, although I don't feel like she did it on purpose, and I made my decision for the sole reason that I didn't want to reward her for it. Am I the idiot? Now, here are the comments. Comment 1. This one is tough. I hate when people disrespect my time too. It would be different if they called, but she didn't. No idiots here. Forget it. I would offer her another chance down the line. But you should let her know how you felt about her being late to an obligation she agreed to do and that it was extra rude. She didn't even call. What if you had a doctor appointment and you were waiting around wondering if she is just around the corner and ended up late and having to pay a late fee or something? Not the idiot. Comment 2. My mother-in-law didn't approve of me being a stay-at-home mom. So when she offered to babysit my baby so I could go to lunch with a working friend, she showed up 3 hours late and made me miss my lunch. She often tried to manipulate my freedoms this way, so definitely don't allow your mother-in-law to do that to you. She knew what she was doing when she didn't show up on time or call you. Comment 3. She just showed you she wasn't reliable. When you tell someone that you'll do something and are running late, the polite thing to do is text and let the person know they're running late. Also, if the plans change, you let them know. It doesn't take 30 seconds to text someone. It was totally disrespectful of her in not relaying this to you, not the idiot. Now, for the next story. I am a 21-year-old female and I am currently pregnant. My child's father resides in a different state for culinary school, and everything he has come to visit, I've paid for the bus tickets. It's $30 to my state and $30 back. I have spent well over $200 just in bus tickets for him to come visit. I have an ultrasound coming up on the 19th in which I'll be 30 weeks pregnant and asked him if he'd like to come over so that way he can go to the ultrasound too. He stated he doesn't want to pay for himself because it's too expensive and that he only has a little bit of money left because he bought shoes. So far, he has not contributed anything towards our son. He hasn't bought anything for the baby at all. Only my family and I have. So finally, I got fed up and told him I'm no longer spending any more money on him because he is irresponsible with his money and just wastes it. I attached photos of our conversation and just need to know, am I the AH like he's trying to make me out to be? And doesn't his responses seem manipulative and narcissistic? Now, here are the comments. Comment 1. Wish you luck in the single parenthood. I am a father of 2. I'd go barefoot before my family went without and have never spent $250 plus on a freaking pair of sneakers. Sorry, but that is just stupid. Not that I don't have my luxuries. I do. But they are afforded asterisk, asterisk after asterisk, asterisk my family is taken care of. This loser in this exchange is not a father. Don't expect him to be. He's a leech and one you cannot afford to support. Not the idiot. Comment 2. Not the idiot.
He said it. You don't want to pay for your irresponsible BD who can't manage money, 'cause, yeah, TF. I wouldn't want to either. Why you buying $250 plus shoes leaving only $12 to your name? But also, We broke up TF.
How was I supposed to know? Unclear, is he talking just about the ultrasound, or it's the whole pregnancy he didn't know about till that message? Comment 3. Stop hemorrhaging money to this leech, not the idiot. Asterisk. Asterisk. He had the money, but he spent it on something else because you keep giving him your own hard-earned money. Stop. Just stop. If you liked this video, you'll probably like these too. Also, while you're here, please consider subscribing. It's your support that keeps this channel alive and allows me to make better and longer videos. Have a great day.